Dennis here at Capital Training and Shoeing. We've got a heading horse here that just came in, and he's barefoot right now, and he's been pretty lame lately. And just looking at his feet, it looks like he's been in a lot of moist conditions, and in moist conditions, the feet get soft, and of course when he walks around on every rock he comes to, because his feet are soft, it just chips off. So he looks like he's just needing to be trimmed and then having some shoes added back to him. So I'm gonna pick this foot up here and look at it and give you an evaluation. So yeah, the first thing that I'm observing here is that he's pretty flat right across here, that frog right here at the apex. Yeah, we can't. The frog is stretched a little bit forward, so it's telling me there's some distortion there. But right here, there's no depth from the sole down to the frog. So what that tells me right away is that he's a real thin-soled horse. So no wonder he's off, because every time anything touches this center part of his foot, he's tender, because there's just nothing there to protect him with. If you notice where the heel stops here in this foot, trying to figure out how to work this pin. There we go. Right here, this medial heel is stopping right there, and right back here is probably where that heel needs to come to. The lateral heel stops here, and it needs to come about right here. So if you notice that the distance between where the lateral heel is touching the ground now and where it needs to be trimmed to is a distance of about almost a ½ inch. And on the medial side, it's about just a little over a quarter, which means that he's longer on the outside heel than he is on the inside. However, this inside heel has been bearing too much load as well, and the whole thing is kind of crushed forward. See, right here is the central sulcus right here. And that frog is it looks like it's been really wet for quite some time, so the central sulcus is not as strong and healthy as it should be. It too has got a very thin coating, so anything that would press back here on the frog is going to cause sensitivity as well. So because of the way that the bottom of the foot appears right now, I think this horse would benefit from just having a shoe on with a pad between the shoe and the foot to just give this horse some protection here on the ground. If we look right across here, the widest part of the sole is right there, and you can see that from here, if we go 2 inches in front of that, there's where his breakover should be, right there. And so we've got balance then back here from this line to center, and from the center line out to a breakover, we've got breakover, and there's still a good deal of toe sticking out in front of that. So that tells me that the whole foot needs to be brought back underneath the leg to give this horse a little better support. And I think just trimming this horse in balance, and then putting a shoe on with a pad under it, and I think this horse will be good to go. I'll go ahead and trim this foot. Now, I didn't trim off hardly any, but look how far back the support came when I took just that little sliver of foot off of the back side there. I'm going to go out in front of center here now, and just I've got to leave this horse something to stand on. So there's nothing to come off, really. Just that. So I'm going to take my rasp here now and just smooth this up. All right. And I've got to quit right now because if I go any further, this horse won't like me when I get done. And we're here to try to help him to be more comfortable. So we don't want to get radical on that trim. I'm just going to explore that dark line right there and make sure that wasn't an abscess. And clean that frog up just a little bit. Anything that looks like it's going to trap dirt, straighten that bar just a little bit. Now, that foot is prepared and ready to receive a shoe. I'll just, that's all I'm going to do now is just go ahead and shoe him. So I'm just putting this pad onto the shoe, and I've got the pad riveted to the shoe using a nail. You can drill a hole through the back of the shoe and put an actual rivet in there, but I find it works just as well for me to use the back nail. And then I'm going to just take these nippers. They make pad cutters and all kind of fancy stuff, but you make do with what you got. And I got a pair of nippers, and there's a pad right here in front of me that needs to be clipped off. So I'm gonna nip that thing off right here. Okay. So now it's just ready to nail on, just like we didn't have the pad on. That's just hoof packing. It's just something in there to help keep the frog healthy and the foot healthy underneath the pad when we take the air away from it, and to keep moisture out from underneath the pad. So I'm going to just fill the center of that foot up with this packing. This horse, the frog is really tender on this particular horse. So with this particular horse, I'm not going to put something under there that's going to have pressure to the frog. I don't believe he could take that just right now. My hammer's inside there. I left it on the handle, I think. Thank you. Oops. Okay, so I put this shoe where I want it to be, and I'm going to use one nail hole as a pilot to hold that shoe where I want it. And I'm going to go on the other side, making sure I have that nail turned right. The flat side of the nail goes to the outside of the foot. First nail I put in did not come out. I'll take it out. Put a little English on this nail. Take that end and put just a little bit more curve on it. Put it right back in the same hole. The reason I could use the same hole, even though it didn't come out, is because it did not quicken. It just traveled up the foot. For that nail there to be a little bit higher. This horse doesn't have much hoof wall, and if I leave the nail too low, there's not enough strength in the hoof wall to help hold him. What I've got to be careful of is go there, get it to go up the hoof wall, not. That's a good nail there. Okay. So now then, I'll just take this block of steel, the clinching block, set that down in there tight. Now if you notice in this foot, it comes down straight to about this line, from the hairline down to that line. Below that line there was some distortion, there was some flaring out. So I'll do the best I can do to give this horse nearly a straight line from the hairline to the ground here in my finish. First thing I gotta do is set those clinches in there. Okay. So now then, I'm just going to address part of the foot that come around here and do the same thing on the inside. right. Now then, put some Kevlar on there.